Hi guys, welcome back to Chelsea Fan TV. My name is Michelle.
And my name is Nina. Welcome back to a brand new episode of Carefree Queens, guys. We hope that you're all doing okay, ready to tune into our new episode as we look ahead to Aston Villa at the weekend. After watching several English clubs playing in Europe this week, it's safe to say that I really want us to win this weekend. So it's not as dull and as sad as it is, right, Michelle? Do you agree?
Absolutely. It's just weird. My only goal or expectations for UCL is that no English club is going to do well. That's like the little joy I take out of it. Yeah, but hopefully we'll see though.
No, I agree. It's just crazy to think that literally Villa played yesterday and they're playing us at the weekend. We've had a whole week to train and to prepare, and it's like if we lose against them on Sunday, we really are in for some serious conversations, aren't we? And I think we need a result against Villa now more than ever.
Yeah.
Like 3 points is not it's not an if, but, or maybe. It's a must.
Well, that was sort of the same mindset I went into the Bournemouth game with as well, that it should have been 3 points certain.
And it wasn't.
It was just a dull-ass game, 1 point.
It reminds me of last season. Do you know when it was like towards the end and we kept going, this is the one, this is the one, maybe this is the one. This is the one. And I can't believe we've gotten into that mindset where we're thinking this is the one. And it seems it's so, it's not even in a positive way where it's like, yeah, like we've got this. It's like, can we get 3 points?
Is this actually going to be the one?
This is it. And then afterwards,
stay tuned for next.
Oh my Lord, what has happened to us? And honestly, like, I still feel and choose to believe that maybe we put things right on Sunday. But Michelle, I don't know if you've seen, but there has been news that has come out that Moises Caicedo has not been training. Obviously, he didn't play against Bournemouth, and apparently he was late to return from international break, but now it's actually, oh no, he's injured. But it's not something that the club has been clear on. It's something that is obviously spiraling around social media, and there's speculation about it, but the club have not told us anything about it. So I mean, you can imagine that we might be a little bit angry why our 115 million signing, who's barely played on the pitch, is now injured after Michelle not being injured in Brighton. How, like, you can't write this. You can't write this.
Well, someone is.
Do you know what, though? It's just so upsetting because everyone keeps saying, oh, you spent $1 billion, you spent $1 billion, you spent $1 billion. But look at the signings. They're getting injured. The £1 billion are not playing. About 500 million are currently injured. And you look at us and, but they don't care about that. They're not going to cut us some slack because, oh, we have some players that are...
spent them. Yeah, no shit.
Other clubs have dealt with injuries well. Well, not all. Man United are pretty much on the same kind of level as us right now. But no, I mean, we need to look at ourselves, and as much as we laugh, we actually need to take things a little bit more seriously now because results are not resulting. And we're going to drop further down in the Prem. And then we're going to find ourselves in a place where we shouldn't be, Michelle. And me and you, we're advocates for this project, aren't we? We've believed in this more than any Chelsea fan. I mean, I was shamelessly Potter in until the very end, coincidentally, until that Villa game. And, flashback to that Villa game and to now, the feelings, yes, okay, we aren't as negative towards our manager, but the feeling around do we win that game was pretty much the same. And we lost that. And it was at home as well, wasn't it, that we lost? And it's just like, how did we get here? And also, Michelle, I don't know if you remember, but that first Villa game we played around this time last year, we won, but we barely won. Like, Kepa saved us in that game, and he had some amazing saves, which are credit to him for keeping us in that game and scraping 3 points just about. We shouldn't have won that game. It was so lucky. And we're falling into this spiral now where playing against Villa, if we win, we're picking up lucky points, or we just about manage to claw our way up. It's not a convincing one.
I think that's what's sort of the problem, or sort of the reason why all of this is going on, is because it's turned into a negative spiral, and no one doesn't really seem to know how to get out of it, even though they are professionals. They have a really good manager. I actually believe a lot of the players has a really good mentality towards the game and training, etc. as well. But it's just there's something like that they're not doing enough. I even heard um, commentators say that Chelsea are still the club who are running the least kilometers in the whole Prem or something like that. Like the stats were just horrible. I was like, maybe start running a bit more. Like it's just it's to me it seems like they want it, but then the stats say something else. And I think that's the frustrating part. Like do something. Like I just want to take them and like shake them.
No, I agree with you totally. That's just the frustration that we seem to be doomed with right now, because how can you not score a goal? I mean, it's yes, okay, it's difficult, but you flash back to last weekend when teams were scoring at least 4 teams that weekend where we couldn't beat Bournemouth scored 3 goals, and it was that easy. A lot of them came from in behind as well. When was the last time that Chelsea came from behind and won a game? We don't have it in us to challenge to equalise.
Do you know what? I actually saw the most interesting analytical video.
Look at you all analytical today.
What?
Look at you all stats and analytics.
It's because I started uni.
She's now an educated stat.
Oh, shit. But it was literally titled "Why Can't Chelsea Score?"
I
And
actually named my last match review that, but anyway, continue.
okay. And he was speaking about all teams know that we struggle to play against teams who sit low, and I thought that was so interesting the way because he showed with like graphics and everything, and I thought it was so interesting that there would be so much space we wouldn't preoccupied, and we would literally just it would be a linear line, so they would have a linear line and then we would have a linear line instead of trying to break that line. I thought it was so interesting. So I think a lot of it is our opponents know what we struggle with and they just
So they
execute
know how to set up against us. Yeah.
It's just thought that was so interesting. Very frustrating that we're not really learning from it, but I thought it was really interesting to see that 100% it's us, but they're capitalizing on our flaws and faults, and yeah.
I mean, I don't want to discredit any Premier League club because I think the quality this season is immense. It's a different quality. Those top 10 teams are now interchanging consistently. You can't really sit down and have a solid top 8 where you definitely know who's in there. They always interchange, and that is why the Premier League is so competitive. And we're not seen as a club that is supposed to be pushing up for top 6, and yet we are trying to get back into Europe. So I suppose my question, Michelle, to you and everyone that's watching this video, let us know down in the comments, is your expectation, and I know this is an absolute must, getting back into Champions League football? And what do we do if we find ourselves, miles off those places? Because we know it now is the top 5, but we're not even being put into the top 5 at the moment, which is alarming. We're looking at 7th, 8th. I've seen other clubs put us into 8th, 9th. Of course,
the worst part is I think that's very realistic, actually. That we'll just hang around 8.
It's early in the season, though. Liverpool started out poorly as well last season and they clawed their way up. Maybe we are just going to take a little bit longer, and Pochettino actually needs that time. Do you know what? I'd rather it gets worse before it gets better, and we actually see us steadily move up. I think that would be
absolutely. And even us finishing 8th is going to be an improvement from last season.
Wow, the positivity.
Oh, we're just having a laugh today, aren't we? But I get your point of view, but I honestly, I feel like the Lulu is the Lulu right now, and I just don't want to. I genuinely. The thing is, I don't know. Anything could happen, and I think that's so beautiful. But I just don't want to put my money on anything. To be honest, I was hoping, and I'm still hoping for top 6, but God knows what's gonna happen with this club.
I mean, take Tottenham, for example. Tottenham have had, as much as it pains me to say it, I've got to call it for what it is. Tottenham have had a great start out to the season, and they've got that kind of fresh new manager bounce, and they've played some great football. Obviously, lost their superstar player Harry Kane, and you see them doing well. But then with us, it's so much more changed than that. They just had a week here and there. With us, it's a whole new project. It's a whole new squad. It wasn't just clearing out a few players and then waiting until January to address those few areas. It all happens at once. People say, oh, the only thing you want is the transfer window. But the thing that we did is we just addressed everything pretty much at the same time, bar maybe 1-2 positions like goalkeeping, whatever. But when you change so much at once, despite how much money you've spent, it can't just, with a click of a finger be perfect, be this polished system, goal scoring machine that you see on the pitch. And one thing I will excuse is that it's the chemistry between the team, and it's why players aren't really gelling together right now. But on the other side, you can't really excuse the fact that you can't put a simple chance away. So right now I'm torn between, yes, we need to give time for the players to get used to playing with each other. But on the other hand, it's like, it doesn't matter. You don't need to be a world-class striker. If the ball is literally in your feet and you're from close range, take a shot. Don't pass it back. We've reverted to old ways where nobody wants to take responsibility to shoot because of fear and scare. And I guess maybe
being shamed for it.
You're criticized, but it's, if you don't take a risk, you don't get a reward either. It's like, you have to take a risk. If you're
absolutely.
You see, Odegaard has absolutely polished that scoring outside the box. We won't even take a shot from that position, let alone score.
That was such an odd way to say his name, for sure.
What, Odegaard?
That was just so irrelevant.
Odegaard.
Sorry, no, but I completely agree with you. And I think that says a lot about football teams who are struggling, because the club here where I live, they do the same. They did the same thing, and they didn't want to shoot, and they would literally just try and dribble the ball into the net, and like that's not how it works.
Exactly what we're doing.
Yeah. So I feel like actually it's just when teams start to doing that, I feel like it says a lot about the state of mind within the club and
absolutely
where they are mentally. It's like they're lacking confidence, and they're lacking. I don't know. What aren't they lacking?
Wow, Michelle, you're so brutally honest today. I love it. I'm trying to weave my way around, be around the bush, but you're just calling it for what it is. You're right, though. There isn't any confidence. You're spot on with the fact that we are lacking mentality, and it comes with the rawness and the youngsters that we have who. Where does the confidence come from? You've got to start getting into a run of form where you're winning games and you can challenge your opponents consistently to gain confidence. That's what it's about. It doesn't just, you don't wake up with it overnight. But it's alarming, because it's like, you need to build confidence, but you need to actually produce something on the pitch to become confident. You need to take that risk. And maybe us Chelsea fans need to hold back a little bit and not criticize those players when they do make a shot that is a poor shot or doesn't actually get us anywhere, but they are trying. We see that somebody needs to start taking responsibility across those different areas to try and put shots in. Regardless, if you drive the ball all the way up to the opponent's box, don't look sideways. Just look for a way to break through and get a shot off, or at least lay it off, and then try to receive the ball again to kind of draw a defender away from you and take that shot. And it's like, we don't really do that. We we try very simple things that actually are very difficult for us, like dribbling the ball into the net. And it's like we have to be a yard out of the net to try and score. And even then we might fail. So set pieces as well. I think out of maybe every single Premier League club I've watched, I think our set pieces are the least threatening, because Sterling's free kick against Bournemouth was a pretty good free kick, unlucky to hit.
Absolutely.
It's the only one where it's actually been decently half threatening. We don't really take
but the thing is when we have our offense, we run. I don't even know how to explain this in English. We run towards the corners and we just kick it in. But the thing is, there's no one there. Like, there's no one preoccupying the space. And I like the format, but I don't like the way it's executed. Like, I like the idea of it, but it's just put some people in there to hit. It's
Yeah. And I think that's
if
because
you focus on it, there's actually so much space that's not preoccupied by our attackers, and it's just
But
it's
that
not
comes with
really
moving
enough.
forward. That comes with moving forward. Like, they don't move off the ball that much. If one player, for example, take, I don't know, Mudryk, say he's like sprinting down that flank, our players won't get there. So he has to potentially stall there. He has to either cut inside, which he might not do because, you know, again, lack of confidence, might try to look for a pass back. But that's exactly where it is. It's not just what you do on the ball. It's what you do off the ball as well. And that's exactly what you do. And perhaps sometimes Jackson is way too wide in a position like that where he just needs to be there in the box waiting to receive that ball from the left, from the right. And it's not. And then by the time we've made that 1-2 extra passes, their whole defense is back, and we're trying to break through, and it's not working.
But and there's just, I think what's frustrating about this whole process and this whole thing is that there's so many buts and there's so many what ifs and there's so much uncertainty. And I think more or less every single Chelsea fan could sit down and be like, yes, there's been so much change within the club, and it will take time. It will take time to get used to the players. Literally yesterday, I was showing photos from when I was in Nottingham Forest away last season. 8 players out of that lineup are not with us anymore. Like, there's just been so much change, and that takes time. But then at the same time, how long is it going to take? Like, there's just so much what if.
It's all for the process, but you've got to see results along the way, and you've got to see improvements. And actually, what we've reverted back to doing is playing the same style of football and not really looking. Okay, that's maybe a little bit unfair of me to say, because we did show some good things on the pitch. You know, when we played like, maybe not Forest, because I think that was a poor performance, but, you know, Bournemouth, and there was things trying to happen there, but just poor finishing and unlucky. Like, we do create the chances, which I guess is a positive step forward, because last season we weren't even creating chances.
But that's the thing. I feel like I don't know if I'm being too harsh now, but I don't think it's good enough. I genuinely don't think it's good enough that we were creating chances last season as well. We didn't create many, but we were creating them, and we are always lagging in product. That's literally the biggest thing. And we don't have bad players. We have really good players. We just, for some reason, cannot extract that quality. And it's just ridiculous, isn't it, that Bournemouth away, the ball just did not want to go in. And then when it did go in, it was an offside. And then in situations where I genuinely thought it was a goal, the goalie was on his back and he was like pushing it away like a cat. Like, it was just, how are we not scoring that? Like, it's just insane situations. Maybe insane, it's like taking a little bit too far, but how do we not score? Like, in a situation like that, how do you not score? And I've seen so many memes with people being like, "Oh, the only time we can score is on the training ground, and when we score at the training ground, they take a shot from far out. But then once they, like, it's up here, I'm certain it's up here, because then once they get on the pitch and it's actually starting to count more than just, oh, let's have fun and see who can score the coolest goal. It's just, I can't stop. Sorry.
No, I mean, you're right. You're not wrong with anything you're going to say. And I'm sure people watching will agree and feel the same frustration as us. And it's like, we're all here for backing the project. I'm going to support this club through and through. Like, whatever happens this season, we're still going to be here next season. And we might be having the same conversations. But frankly, I think what we're going to have to accept as Chelsea fans, which I think is going to be really difficult, is that things might be very mediocre even this season. I think things might be very, very tricky. Yes, we also might claw our way up further and might get into a run of winning games perhaps later on, and I'm all here for it. But I think we might have to accept that we're not going to be where we imagined, and we might not even get back into Europe. And I think that is part of backing the process. And some people are going to call me for it and call me out for it here, because they might say, no, Nina, like these aren't the expectations for Chelsea. We have these standards, blah, blah, blah. Yes, but we are at a place where we are trying to rebuild, literally, and that might mean creating new standards as well in the future. We've got a young squad here. We've got a new manager. Things are going to take time, and yes, we're going to keep like repeating that. But you spent £1 billion, but we paid for potential. We didn't bring in well-established players, and we didn't bring in end products of an absolute superstar goal-scoring machine. No, we brought players that we saw, okay, you great, I appreciate your quality, you've got the potential there. I'm going to mold you into becoming a really good player, and I'm locked you in for 7-8-year deals here, because I'm going to give you that time to work with you, to get you better, to help you develop, and you're going to play alongside other players like you who are also in that same spiral. And some may say, yeah, but you also need that experience there. And arguably, Thiago Silva has probably only got another year or two, maybe even 2, is pushing it with us. And then he's going to leave. And then we really are going to be left with a very, very young squad. And that's if Sterling stays or doesn't next year as well. So it's like everyone's in the same boat pretty much. It's not like you're seeing this different level of quality and different level of finished product. No, they're pretty much all full potential. They're all coming off the bat of a good season, perhaps 2 good seasons, or, you know, a good run of form, or I don't know, a goal scoring record for the second half of the season, like Jackson, for example. And you paid for that potential.
Yeah.
So that is where we kind of need to accept that things were never going to be as easy as they were. And if you're going to believe in young players and a young project, then you also have to be patient with that. And you have to take to take into account that it's going to be trickier than
and I actually think it's going to be very interesting to follow. I'm a little gutted that we are sort of the science project, that our club is a science project, but
we are.
It really is. It could turn out to be great, but it could also fail massively. And I think it's going to be interesting nonetheless. I just think it's a little frustrating that we're the science project. I hope that they realize that experience is crucial, and I hope they realize that they cannot rely on youngsters only. They like everyone needs someone to look up to. And yeah, sure, you've got a great manager. You've got like John Terry, for example. Like you've got
role models.
Exactly, role models. But you need them beside you as well during the 90 minutes. And I like the thought of having a young squad, but personally, I feel like at least 2 to 3 players should be experienced, so you can have an experienced one up front, in the middle, and in the defense. But nonetheless, I actually think it's a very interesting project. I just, like I said, that we're the science project.
And I believe that this science project, I can't believe we're calling ourselves a science project, but I believe the science project is going to have a good outcome. One way or another, it might just take a very long time. It might be the longest science project ever. But we're going to be here. Whatever happens, we're going to be here. And I hope that you guys watching this are also willing to be patient. I mean, you have no other choice. This is it, really. Like, hop onto the ride. Things have arguably maybe been easy in the past for us, and we've had a good system kind of at times, and now we don't really, and it's kind of finding our way back. But you know, it will happen. Also, though, happy birthday to Thiago Silva, Michelle, right? Because we forgot to wish him a happy birthday.
Oh, wow, look at me being I did not know that.
He's literally on your back. Poor form.
Shit, how old is he turning?
39. All right, let's just wrap this up because it's becoming very emotional.
Yeah,
but no, Thiago Silva, he honestly deserves to have the best day in the whole entire world. We love you, Thiago Silva, and if you ever come across this, yeah, we love you. Captain, leader, and
wait, let's do something.
Captain. Huh? Oh. Wait. There we go.
No, what do you mean?
That's the most horrific heart I've ever seen. Anyways, though, guys, let's wrap this up. We hope you've enjoyed this video. Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Do you believe in this science project? And do you think that Chelsea will win against Villa as well? There's 2 questions for you.
What are your score predictions for Villa? Do you have a score prediction?
Oh, score prediction. Oh, I'm going to delusionally just say 2-1 for Chelsea because I want us to win. But yeah, I don't know.
I'm going to go with 1-0. Not going to say which team because I genuinely don't know. I think it's going to be hope it's not going to be a boring game, but I think it's going to be a boring game.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay.
Well, guys, subscribe to Chelsea Fan TV if you haven't done so already, and like and comment down below. Check out our social media, and we will see you in the next one. Thank you.
Cheers. Bye, guys.